pediatricians are having to, treat patients, or they end up referring oftentimes, but even having that conversation, we just did a hemoglobin A1C, which, to tell your viewers, that
Yeah.
is one of the screening tools for diabetes. And so having to have that conversation that your child right now has prediabetes, and if we don't make the necessary lifestyle changes, the
Wow.
next time we do this lab, your child very well may be diagnosed
Full
with
blown.
diabetes. And
Yeah.
so we know, like you spoke about, eye disease complications,
Yeah.
loss of limb, kidney
Wow.
issues, being on dialysis, all of these things have been seen. So it is really important that we recognize what obesity can do
Yeah.
to, and it's even social and emotional as well. I mean, you probably have seen in the news where young children have committed suicide because they've been bullied because they were either overweight or obese. So just, so many things that we have to have a conversation
Yeah.
about. And I just want to impress upon families that it's
Correct.
really important that we attack it early, and we have a
Yes.
conversation, we make the necessary lifestyle changes, sustainable lifestyle changes.
Yes.
And so it's something that it's for the long haul, right? We want to have
Mhm.
longevity of life, but we also want to be able to um, move and do the things that we do.
Yes.
And so when we are not able to do that, then we also talk about the mental health issues as well, stress and anxiety, because of the inability to have a fulfilling life. So it is a lot.
Wow. Such a great point that you're making. You are watching World Talk, produced by Let's Talk America Radio. We're on with the one and only board certified pediatrician, Dr. Monica Moore. She just shared some eye-opening news for me that she's saying pediatricians are seeing more and more adolescents and teens with pre-diabetes. I knew, Dr. Monica, that adult Americans, or American adults, if you will, in the United States, we start to see that coming out of COVID, the pandemic. Didn't realize that was trickling over to our young people as well. But I think logically, you think about it, it does make sense because they tend to eat what mom and dad or the household adults are eating as well. Before we get to your cooking demo, and I'm so excited to see what you have prepared for us, quick, easy, convenient, healthy meals. How serious is a heart attack or stroke? Because you made the case so clearly and so eloquently that obesity can certainly help make that all worse. How serious is it for someone that's out there watching and saying, well, now I've known so many people that survived it, they bounce back, and I have as well. But how serious and detrimental can that possibly be for our health?
Yeah. So, like you said, I mean, one of the things, it can be fatal, right?
Yeah.
There are many people that do not live after a heart attack or after a stroke, and we've seen that happen so many times. And then those that do survive, so now we talk about that's the mortality. So that's
Yes.
when we pass away, that's fatal. But the morbidity is, what are your lifelong sequela? What are the consequences of that? So are you able to still function? Are you able to walk? Are you able to still talk?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, recently had conversations with some individuals about some 40 and 50, 40 and
Mm.
45-year-olds that had a stroke and now are having to have speech therapy, literally having to learn how to talk again, having physical therapy, literally having to learn how to walk again. And so just think about, one day you're just thriving, you're going to
Yes.
work, you're in, the next day you can't do any of that, and so what that looks like, and so the life that you plan for yourself and desire for yourself is no longer the same. And so it's really important that these are oftentimes preventable. And that is why, and this is also Health Literacy Month, there's so many awareness months, Health Literacy Month, that we recognize the importance of having a primary care physician. You
Yes.
and I were having that conversation. Also knowing your numbers, so knowing your blood pressure, knowing your hemoglobin A1C, as I spoke
Yes.
about, that is determining, that is one of the screening tests that we do for diabetes. Knowing your lipid panel, so that's your cholesterol, because
Hmm.
the other thing that I may not have shared about obesity related illnesses is high cholesterol. And so that can
Yes.
also cause heart related issues and increase your likelihood of having a heart attack. So those things are really important, that we know all of those things, and you don't know unless you
Yeah.
go to the physician. And so
That's right.
not being afraid of going
Yes.
because you're afraid of the diagnosis, but you become armed with it. And I believe being an advocate for yourself, I believe in having agency over yourself.
Yes.
And the only way that we can do that is we are aware of what is going on with our body. And so we have to
Absolutely.
make sure that we prioritize our health, our mental
What
and
a
our physical health.
Yeah, what a great prioritizer health for the right reasons, as you pointed out. It can be fatal, it can be deadly. And for those that do survive, that road is often a very difficult road that requires a lot of help, of that rehabilitation, what it looks like. And this truth be completely told and transparent, you may not return to the state you were prior, right, Dr. Monica? I think that's upfront and honest to admit.
Very much so. Very
Yeah,
much so. You
yeah.
look at
Thank
life
you.
different.
Yeah, such a great conversation. It's a tough conversation to have, but it's one that's needed. And here on Let's Talk America Radio, we aim to inspire, educate, and empower you with information. And before we get out of here, Dr. Monica, I'm so excited. I know you have a quick cooking demo for us that you're going to share with us, because you're not just a pediatrician, you are a wife and a mother and as well. So you get all the stressors that other men and women are going through, right? You're not just speaking high pie in the sky. You're saying, I recognize it's not easy, but you've got some great recipes to share with us that you told me literally takes minutes.
Yes, definitely. I truly believe in making sure that the meals are very easy, very quick, and they taste good as well as they're healthy for you. And so I think that's one of the things that's important. So like I said before, this month is eat better, eat, and eat together. But also it is Pizza Awareness Month. So I have a little healthy twist on pizza. So I'm not sure if your viewers enjoy a good bell pepper or not, but I have yellow
Yummy.
bell pepper. I have some red bell pepper and I have some orange bell pepper. And so
Nice.
this is going to be your crust, let it be, right? And so we are going to have a healthy take on a pizza. It's very simple. So you would take your bell pepper and cut it. The other ingredients that I'll briefly show the viewers as well as you have some pizza sauce. I really want to make sure that we're getting one that's low in sugar. We've already talked about the added sugars. I have a little topping here, which is some spinach, and I also have some diced tomatoes as well. So those will be our toppings for our pepper pizza. And then addition to that, because what is a good pizza without a few other toppings, for some cheese. So this is a variety of cheeses, some cheddar cheese, some mozzarella, and some Parmesan, as well as I have some diced turkey pepperoni. So for those individuals who may be vegan or vegetarian, you can get a non-dairy option for your cheese, and you can just forego the turkey pepperoni and put a few extra vegetables on there if you would so desire. All right. Love, love, love having my extra virgin olive oil that I put that on almost everything. And also it calls for salt, but as we spoke before about high blood pressure, this is a note. I don't cook with salt. I use a lot of spices, and I also use a non-salt substitute, and also a little pepper. So when you can tell me, Shane, if you're able to see me. So you would just basically take your pepper, and you would just want to go ahead and cut that in half. And once you cut it in half, then you just want to go ahead and pour it out. So you're getting out the center of your bell pepper. And after you've done that, then you can just go ahead and put your sauce in it. So that is my cut out bell pepper that I would then just go ahead and put a little bit of some pizza sauce inside of my pepper. Very, very simple. If you want to add a little bit more of that, then you can put that in there. And then after that, you're going to just add your toppings. So whatever topping you or your children like. So I guess I have my shredded cheese right now. I'm going to put that on top of my pepper. Then I love spinach. And so I also want to talk about the importance of that. So again, this red pepper is full of antioxidants and vitamin A, which is great for your vision. Your spinach, a lot of in the African American population, anemia is extremely, extremely very common. So if your doctor tells you that your hemoglobin is low, they might talk to you about eating more iron-rich foods. So your spinach is going to give you more of your iron in your diet. And then also we talked about that we had some of the diced tomatoes. So we'll add the diced tomatoes and then a little bit of the turkey pepperoni, okay? And that is bite-sized pizza. So you would put this inside of if you can see that there, I'll pull this back. So you would layer them. I'm not going to do this in inches of time. So then you would layer all of those inside of your pan. And then you would put a little bit of the olive oil on there. And then again, you would just put the salt substitute. I'll put that on there as well. And then the last thing, you'll put a little pepper on it, okay? And the oven will be preheated to 350 degrees. And you'll let that sit there for about in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes until it is nice and crispy. And you will have a nice, healthy, delicious bell pepper pizza. All right. And the
Ooh,
last thing,
I love
and the
it.
last,
I love that. And it sounds like it's fun as a pediatrician. I know you would say this as a mom. You can often get the kids to help prep, or
definitely.
if they're younger children and you don't trust them around the night, they can
Mhm,
certainly help distribute those
mhm.
great, yummy, and healthy ingredients onto our pepper pizza.
Mhm. Definitely. Yes, if my daughter was not asleep because it's well past her bedtime. And again, we didn't go back to the conversation about how sleep deprivation or
Yes,
lack of sleep can also lead to obesity. So I definitely believe in making sure she gets her sleep. But yeah, definitely getting the kids involved in not only the conversation about healthy eating, but also in the kitchen as well, because then they can be an active participant and
great.
then be able to consume the foods that they make. The other thing is if you all haven't thought about it, your viewers, having your own garden. Tomorrow, my daughter and I will be going to the Mableton Community Garden here in Atlanta area and planting some vegetables. So having your own vegetable garden, being able to produce that for yourself, sustainable foods, is something that I highly, highly recommend as well.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. I love it. And you've got one more quick recipe
Yes,
for us?
yeah, just really, really quick. So you may be able to see this. So this is kale. Again, we talked about in the African American population how anemia is so very highly seen. So iron, very, very rich in iron. You would take your kale, you would wash it really well, and then also, I'm not sure, Shane, if you know anything about massaging kale, and if you know a little bit about that, but that makes your kale a lot more palatable. So it's easy on the palate. So if you all know, kale is a coarse, rough vegetable, but very, very good for you. But if you massage it really well for about 3 minutes, also put some olive oil and a little bit of lemon juice on it, it'll make it softer as well as it'll make it go down a lot easier. So that's something that you might want to put in your toolbox that you can do next
I
time that
love
you
it.
have a salad. All
And
right.
then we can get the kids to actually do.
They would love to do that. They like to get their hands, but I think that, getting them in the kitchen so you can have your kids over there massaging the kale really good and then go ahead and set it out. So that is the massage kale. And then just a few toppings. Of course, those that don't have a nut allergy, you could, I've roasted some almonds. So I have roasted almonds. I also have a few dried cranberries. So berries are also a very good source of antioxidants, help you fight infection. And then the other thing is another little, some cheese as well, so some feta cheese. So you would just take your slivered almonds, you would put that over your kale. The next thing you would do, just simply just go ahead and take a few of your dried cranberries and put that over your kale. And then the last and final thing would be your feta cheese that you would put as well. All right. And the last thing, I love a good vinaigrette. So I have a raspberry vinaigrette dressing. You could make it or you could go ahead and purchase it. Nobody's going to judge if you pre-purchase it. It's also, again, watching the sugar content. And you just take your raspberry vinaigrette and put that over your kale salad. And there you have your kale salad ready for your family. So a little bit of kale salad and your nice, tasty bell pepper pizza. What a delicious combination to have.
I love it. And Dr. Monica, show us the kale salad again, a better
Yes,
view.
all right. So we've got our kale,
Love
fresh
it.
kale, we have our feta cheese, we have our cranberries, and we have our slivered almonds.
I love it. You're making me hungry. I love it.
Move over.
And both what you said for those that are out there that may be diabetic and watching some of those simple or complex carbohydrates, if you will, what you said, both of those recipes seem fairly low in carbohydrates.
Yeah, very, what we call the glycemic index is the other terminology to use as well. So very low in that. So you will have not having those alterations in your blood sugar. So very simple to make, very helpful, healthy, and very nutritious as well. So like I said, again, I think because we know that so many of our families are super busy, and so
Yes,
we don't want to add any additional stress because stress can also lead to obesity as well. And so we
absolutely.
want to definitely decrease that stress level. So going ahead, I talk to families about meal prepping. So doing that on the
Yes,
weekend so that when we come home from soccer practice, from basketball practice, you know what? We can go right past all of those unhealthy food options, go inside our freezer or our refrigerator and go ahead and have what we've already pre-prepared for our family. And so there's no thought in it at that night. Cause at that time you're just like, I don't even know. I just want something to eat. But guess
yes.
what? Already been intentional about
Absolutely.
your family's health and you've already prepared it ahead of time.
So true. We've had dietitians on the show, and they often say the biggest threat to keeping your health in check, and particularly your weight, is getting hungry, right?
Yeah,
Because when you're
yeah.
hungry, and you mentioned it at the top of the segment, that you tend to reach for anything to fill yourself up. And so just making sure you're choosing healthy snacks and prepping and preparing for maybe when the traffic is really bad in Atlanta, Georgia, you've got healthy snacks to choose from in the car for you and the kids. Dr. Monica, I love it. You're always a joy to have here on Let's Talk America Radio, keeping us in check with the weight as well, and making and selecting delicious options. Before you get out of here, will you tell our national and international viewers where they can go for more information about you and your platform?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, Shana, so much for having me on your platform. I love the topics and the discussions that you dive into. Very, very timely and very pivotal and important in our community. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do. And thank you for having me on once again to have a conversation, very needed conversation to your viewers about obesity and about helping healthy lifestyle changes and making sure that our families are well informed and being intentional. So again, I am Dr. Monica, board certified pediatrician. I have a virtual practice, and it is Premier Wellness, and where I focus on your wellness journey. And I have a weight management program. And so you can find all of that information about my practice at premierwellnesspediatrics.com. You can also follow me on IG at Dr. Monica Cares.
I love it. Thank you so much for all of that information. Great advocacy, and also someone that's near and dear to, I know, the passion of getting all of our children on point. Thank you, Dr. Monica, for doing that and inspiring all of us as well. Listeners and viewers, thank you for watching another edition of Real Talk, produced by Let's Talk America Radio. If you like Dr. Monica, connect with her out there on social media and stay tuned in, because we have more great advocates, more exclusive guests, just like Dr. Monica, coming up. We're going to continue to put the spotlight on the topics and issues that matter to you. Stay tuned in. Follow Let's Talk America Radio on famous Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, we're out there. Simply search LTA Radio. That's LTA Radio. If you can't remember that, just use our hashtag LTA Radio as well. Stay tuned in, stay informed, okay? And remember, I know Dr. Monica would say this, your health is truly your wealth. Right, Dr. Monica?
So true, so true. Well said.
Choose the right options. And again, she's making me hungry, but I'm not where she is in the studio, so I can't eat her snacks right now. But stay tuned in, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dr. Monica, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned in for more information on Let's Talk America Radio. Visit ltaradio.com. That's ltaradio.com. And remember, the information provided by Dr. Monica Moore. She is a board-certified pediatrician in the Atlanta area. The information she provided is for general information only. For more specific questions about your health or the health of your children, please seek information and advice from your own practitioner. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and stay tuned in.